Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So this week I want to talk to you guys about hip rotation. And I know a lot of videos that I've made in the past, especially for you guys that swing it over the top. I've talked to you guys about feeling like a delay in the rotation, almost feeling like your back kind of stays against the target longer. But even though that's just a feel, in reality, there still has to be some separation between upper body and lower body. And the lower body does have to lead ahead of the chest, and you have to be able to utilize rotation. So for those of you who want to know more about how to add more rotation in the downswing, I'm going to go over how to do that and a great drill that'll help you. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you are visiting my channel for the first time, please subscribe to see more golf-related content. Okay, so before I start to explain the actual feels and things like that, I want to just go over the positions that we're striving for. Okay, so first from the side view, if you look at a lot of tour pros, after they make their backswing and after they kind of turn their bodies together, you'll notice that by the time their lead arm reaches around parallel to the ground in the downswing, that their knees will kind of return back to like a neutral position. Okay, so you're never going to see a tour pro literally kind of look like this with his body closed and his arms coming down all at the same time, and everything kind of turning is in one piece. Okay, you have to understand that when a good player takes it back when they come down, there is some separation between how much the lower body turns and how much the upper body turns. So you can see that the lower body is going to turn at a much faster rate than the upper body. Now, if I were to explain that from the face-on view, just so you can have a good visual, again, when we take it back, we don't want to kind of turn everything and move the arms all at the same time. Okay, we want to make sure that when we start, that there's kind of the hips are going to lead, the weight's going to go to the lead side. You're going to feel pressure moving down into the left side as you're kind of initiating that downswing. Okay, so you can kind of see how my knees and my hips, kind of my belt buckle, kind of points more to the left relative to kind of where the buttons of my shirt are. So my buttons of my shirt are kind of like over on this direction, where the buttons are, the belt buckle is kind of more in this position here. So you can see my hips definitely are rotating more and separating away from my chest as I'm kind of initiating that downswing. So a lot of people that ask me about this specifically are wondering when it happens, what body part kind of initiates first, and a drill that'll get them to feel this out. But what's more important is that it might not necessarily take only one body part to kind of initiate this. It depends on where your swing is at currently. But what you have to understand also is that this is more of a sequencing issue. So I'm going to do my best to kind of explain these things for you guys, just so you can have a full understanding of the right sequencing and a drill that's going to give you the right feel. All right, so I'm going to kind of try to explain this more from the side view first. But if you were just to look at some tour pros on the screen, you can see that as they make their backswing, it's almost as if like just before they complete their backswing, they're already moving kind of their pressure down into the left side, almost like they're kind of stepping on a bug, and they're kind of turning their hip, right? Most people think that you have to fully complete your backswing first, and then as you start, then you kind of initiate everything. But the truth is that all the good ball strikers are actually initiating that as their arms are continuing to move further into the backswing, all right? So you can kind of see with me when I hit this shot, okay, if I do that kind of again in slow motion, you'll almost notice that as I'm starting my downswing, you can still see that the club head and the hands move up into the backswing as I'm already kind of starting. Okay, and that's the part that most people don't understand. So for me personally, when I get to the top, I feel like my pressure and weight move into the downswing when I'm about 85% complete. Okay, so I definitely do feel like my hands continue to go up as I'm already kind of starting that weight shift and rotation in my lower body. All right, so now from the face-on view, you can kind of see, I think a lot of people don't know how to create that separation because they just have the wrong idea of getting to the top first and then weight shift down, and then they're trying to rotate really hard. But all of these things actually happen quite quickly. All right, it's really difficult to do these things if you do it if you separate all these movements too much, because again, they happen very, very fast. Okay, So if you were to go to the top, the very top of your backswing, shift the pressure down and actually rotate, yeah, sure, that can give you a good idea of the right sequence, but it won't give you the idea or the right idea of when to initiate that sequence. All right, so when you go up to the top, you can kind of see from that, when I do that, my hands are still almost kind of moving, or the club is still almost moving back into my backswing as I'm already moving down. All right, so if you just repeat that in slow motion one more time, right, you can kind of see when it happens. And that's why I feel personally that it happens about 85% of the way back as I'm still completing the backswing itself. So always remember that if you are trying to create that separation, you have to initiate the movement kind of in the opposite direction of each other. So if the upper body is kind of turning to the right, then as it's still feeling like it continues to the right, you've got to start initiating that hip turn to in the opposite direction. Okay, so you can kind of see as my shoulders and hips kind of turn to the right, I'm already initiating my hips kind of turn to the opposite direction as I'm still just completing my backswing. Okay, so you can kind of see my upper body still this way, my hip is kind of moving in this direction here. Now, the number one mistake that everybody makes when they try to add rotation is they add rotation without adding pressure down into the left side. Okay, so what I see all the time is they try to spin out like this, but all of their weight is back on their trail foot. Okay, so it's important that you move down into the left. Like you got to feel that extra pressure into that left foot or that lead foot. Pressure first, and then that separation. Okay, so that happens very quickly, right? You kind of see pressure moving down as I rotate. It doesn't kind of stay back, and I just kind of spin out of it if I do that. So what really happens if you really break everything down, just so you guys are aware of the actual sequencing, is if I go really slowly into my backswing, kind of turning everything together, as I'm just about to complete, I'm already kind of initiating with a pressure shift kind of down into the left side. So there's a pressure shift down into the left side and then followed by rotation. Okay, and then the arms will come through. Okay, so it always starts with a pressure down into the left, followed by rotation, then the arms. Okay, so just remember that that is the sequence, but it happens very, very quickly. So if you try to consciously pressure and then rotate and then arms, and you kind of are really conscious about it, you're probably doing it too slow. And what's going to happen is you'll end up kind of leaving your arms behind. Okay, things like that, and just again being out of sequence, but in a different way. So remember, pressure, turn, arms. Pressure, turn, arms. Okay, so that's the sequence if you really think about it in a very general way. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a really good drill that'll help you really focus on this sequencing that you can practice on the range or even at home doing some practice swings. All right, so the drill that I want to share with you guys is just making like a quarter backswing, basically, and then just trying to hit the ball as hard as you can from that position. All right, so the reason why that's really good for sequencing is because it's going to force you to have to use your body. Otherwise, it's going to feel like you can't really hit it very hard. Okay, so now it's important to know that when you do the takeaway, you want to do everything normally. Okay, you want to make sure that you initiate things with your body. Right, you get the body to turn enough. Make sure you feel enough rotation in that rib cage. You get enough hip turn. You know, ensuring that there's enough change in your knee flex, things like that. You don't want to just pull your arm across to this point and then just start turning. Okay, so remember, just get to this position here. And the club is kind of close to belt buckle high. All right, and then from there, what you're going to do is you can actually get the backswing to go a little bit further, but as your hands continue to go further up, you're going to want to actually start pressure shifting first and then rotating your hip and then just trying to hit the ball as hard as you can. So I'll demonstrate this from the side view first. Okay, so I'm just going to go up to the takeaway position and then I'll go up and I'll try to hit it as hard as I can. Okay, and you'll notice that when you do this drill up to this point, as you continue up, that's when you want to start initiating that pressure shift and rotation as hard as you can. Okay, so it's here. As my hands continue to go up, then I'm pressure shifting and I'm turning. Okay, so from the front view here, you'll notice that when I take it back to that takeaway position, as I'm taking it back, I'm pressure shifting and then I'm turning, okay? Again, if I do that, maybe replay this in slow motion, but going up to the takeaway, okay, pausing it there for just a moment. And as my hands continue up, then I'm pressure shifting and I'm turning as I swing through. Now, one other important point that I want to make when you're doing this drill is a lot of the times when people continue to move their arms up and at the same time they're moving their pressure to the left and turning, they're going to feel as though that their body kind of turns into their lead arm. Okay, so from the side view, that would look like is I get back to this takeaway position. As I take it up, I'm pushing my pressure left and I'm turning, but you can kind of see that my chest kind of turns more into or kind of loads more into that lead arm as I'm turning before my arms kind of release and go through the shot. Okay, so if I do that really slowly again, take away, move up, pressure left, turn, I'm really feeling like as I do that rotation, I'm feeling more pressure of my bicep of my lead arm going into my left pec, okay? And that's okay, right? Usually a lot of people that spin out, they kind of have that left arm kind of moving away from their pec like this, and that's why they kind of throw it over the top. But you want to feel that as you take it back, you want to feel that pressure of the chest going more into that lead arm before you let it go, okay? I just wanted to point that out because I think that's a really important sensation that is okay for you to have when doing this drill. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Now, if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, you can leave a comment down below. And be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Jonathan K. Moss. But other than that, I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.